Apart from market research and interior design, finding and keeping a great cleaner is the most important factor in keeping a successful Airbnb business up and running. So for today's video, I am going to cover exactly that. I'm going to show you all of my tips and tricks that I have personally used to find and keep a great Airbnb cleaner. So let's get started. The first thing that you need to keep in mind is that apart from you, the manager of your Airbnbs, your cleaner is the person who is really running the business on a day-to-day basis. And that's because the cleaner is going to be inside of the properties that you have listed as a short-term rental, usually on a daily basis. So they are going to have a lot of time in between guests to not only clean the place, but to see what the condition is, and then to let you, the owner, the host, know what needs to be addressed. So you need to make the selection of your cleaner one of the things that you spend the most time doing in order to make sure that you're running a successful Airbnb. So how do you even go about finding a cleaner? I have used multiple methods, but I'm going to go over what I think is the most important one that you can do, and it will work in, I think, pretty much every market. I know that for those Airbnbs that are located in more rural locations may have a tough time finding and keeping a cleaner, but I do think that the methods that I've used will work even in those areas, even though it may be a bit more challenging. So the first thing to do is you want to get referrals from perhaps other hosts, a realtor, friends and family. Ask them if they have used cleaners, if they have liked them and would recommend them. So I think personal one-on-one referrals is a great first place to start to find that cleaner. The next would be to ask contractors that you have worked with in the past, particularly landscapers and those in the construction business. Those are people who I think are most likely to know who other house cleaners might be, and get referrals from them. And then once you've exhausted those, then I think you go to online resources. And there's a few online resources that I would recommend. One is review sites like Yelp, or you could even do sites like Thumbtack or TaskRabbit, who actually hire out contractors. Those can be good sources. There is another online resource that I've heard works for people. I tried it, it didn't work. It was called Turnover B&B. Now it's called Turno, and it purports to be a marketplace for cleaners. While there were some cleaners that were listed, there was very little information about them, and frankly, the user interface, the actual software, was not easy to use, so I abandoned it pretty much immediately after I found it. I just didn't find it very easy to navigate, and there wasn't a big variety of cleaners in my area to begin with. So if you're in a major metropolitan area or a major suburb, I do think that TaskRabbit and Thumbtack, which are sites where you can find and pay people to perform services for you, I think that's a really good resource. But the next way that I'm going to tell you to find a cleaner is, in my opinion, the best. And I think it's through local Facebook groups. Go on a local Facebook group for your county, for your city, and just ask, does anyone have a cleaner that they would recommend? And for the most part, you should be able to get the names of a few people. So once you have done all of that research, you have asked for personal referrals, you have looked at Thumbtack or TaskRabbit, you've looked on Yelp or even Facebook Marketplace, the next step is not to hire them, but you want to reach out and communicate with them, and then you want to test them out. And there's a few reasons why you want to do this. The Airbnb business is not at all like cleaning homes. It is a completely different animal. Cleaners for Airbnb have to clean on a very specific schedule. They have to clean in between the time that guests check out and when they check in, which is usually about a 5 to 6 hour window. So they don't have all day to do the cleaning. And they are going to have a process for washing the linens. That is your towels, your sheets, pillowcases, etc. Those are going to have to be changed for each guest. And they're going to have a way to do that. If they do the laundry there at the home, if it has a washer and dryer, that means that the turn is going to take a lot longer. versus them taking it with them to do at home or dropping it off at a laundry service, or you could have a laundry service come and pick it up. Either way. But I say all that to say that cleaning for an Airbnb is very different than cleaning for a home. And the cleaner for your Airbnb is going to have to know this and really understand how to have processes and systems to be able to move quickly. And that's what you're going to want to test for. So reach out to all of the cleaners that have made your short list. And before telling them that you are looking to hire a cleaner for an Airbnb, I want you to test them out in your own home. And what you're going to be testing for is, what is their communication like with you? Do they respond quickly? Do they show up on time? And then when they do show up, do they do a good job? And I think from that process, you're going to winnow down your list of prospects from there. I know it happened for me. I personally had a list of 3 potential cleaners that I tested all of them. One of them, super great on communication, but then flaked at the last minute. Another one seemed to be all talk and no action. I wasn't able to get her to actually confirm an appointment to come and clean my house. The third, who I ended up hiring and that I'm still with today, her communication was very prompt. She came in, she did a good job. She was done with the cleaning of my house in about an hour, and it's a smaller home. And then she even mentioned, hey, I actually focus on Airbnbs, and it was perfect. So you want to do that initial test to make sure that they're prompt, their communication is good, and that they actually do a good job, because all of these things are really going to matter once your cleaner is cleaning your Airbnbs. So you want to test them out. Once you've winnowed down that list, then I think you can go ahead and let them know who made the cut and who didn't. Now, if you have more than one cleaner who seems to be working for you, who could do a good job, I would recommend to have one main cleaner and have one backup cleaner. And the reason that you want to do this is because sometimes things happen and your cleaner may not be able to clean your particular unit on the day and time that he or she is supposed to. And you're going to want to have a backup. You can't always predict when something like that is going to happen, but you can set something up with your main cleaner to say, if anything happens, I need you to let me know as soon as possible so that you can put your plan B into place. So you always want to have more than one option with main cleaner and then a backup cleaner. So once you've hired that person, the next really, really, really important step to having a really solid cleaner and a cleaning experience is to set and manage expectations. What is your cleaner going to be cleaning? What are all the items that you want done in your Airbnbs? And have a checklist. Have a checklist by room of all of the items that you want done. Now, here's a word of caution, and I'm going to go against the advice of a lot of Airbnb gurus who are also here on YouTube, who say things like, have your cleaner let you know when something is broken or needs to be replaced, or if there's anything that is amiss. Now, the reason I'm going to say really don't want to do that is because cleaners have their system and process mapped out. They have the order in which they do things. They know how much time each particular listing is going to take to get done. And when you disrupt that system, things are going to get missed. And essentially, what you wind up doing is you wind up asking your cleaner to perform more functions than cleaning. And I don't think that that's a good idea. Instead, what you really should do is you should have a function. It should probably be you doing it, or you hire someone to do it, but it's more of a hospitality person, or it's just part of the property manager's job. And this person should be checking the level of supplies, should be checking the working order of everything, keeping the list of things that need to get done, and perhaps even doing some things on a quarterly basis, him or herself, or hiring someone else to do those things. What do I mean by that? So what I personally do is I'm in my properties all the time because I live where they all are. However, regardless of whether you were nearby or you're far away, making sure that you go through and you are looking at the level of your supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, So any other consumable items that you make available to your guests, you're going to want to make sure that you are keeping the inventory of those and you know when to order so that everything is there for your cleaner when he or she needs it. Don't ask your cleaner to perform that task because it really is just asking too much. It's something that I tried to do in the very beginning, but my cleaner wound up being so inconsistent with it that it just wasn't worth it. And for me, it was much better to just streamline the work that she did. The next thing that you are going to have to do in order to keep a good cleaner in place is to actually perform cleanliness inspections on a regular basis. Now, absolutely, you should trust your cleaner that he or she is going to do a good job, but they're human beings and things will get missed. It has happened to me a number of times. It doesn't mean that my cleaner is bad or doesn't do a good job. It just means that she's human and things happen. So it is actually my responsibility as the owner and the property manager to make sure that the level of quality that I expect, that I hold my cleaner accountable for that. It's not her job to hold herself accountable for that. So what I do is I just do weekly inspections. Now, again, I live nearby my property, so it is a lot easier for me to do that. If you don't live nearby, this can be something that you do periodically or you hire someone to do periodically. But you want to just have eyes inside of your property to look at the level of cleanliness. You want to check, are the surfaces clean? Are the bathrooms clean? Is everything wiped down? One thing that I have found that has been a pretty persistent issue that has happened in some of my Airbnbs is making sure that all hair is removed from the showers. So you're going to want to inspect every area where your guests are going to be interacting. You want to make sure that someone lays eyes on them and make sure that they are clean, and take photos and document where something is amiss and send that to your cleaner to let him or her know that something was missed. Because if you don't do that, guess who is going to notice? Your guests. It has happened to me a number of times. In fact, it actually just happened 2 days ago. My cleaner was sweeping up and didn't get a pile of dirt behind a door. And one of my guests found it and let me know. And thankfully, she wasn't upset about that. And I apologized, and I sent a screenshot of that message over to my cleaner and said, hey, this happened. Please make sure that you are looking behind the doors when you're cleaning behind there. But the point is that you want to trust that they are doing a good job, but you have to verify that your standards are being upheld. And where are your standards set up? Well, that should be in a checklist that you give to your cleaner at the very beginning so that you both have the same information about what the expectations are. Okay, the next piece of advice I have for you to maintain a good cleaner is to pay your cleaner adequately. Do not try and nickel and dime your cleaner. And I know that there are some people here on YouTube who advocate for hiring cleaners on staff and paying them $15 an hour. No. $15, who can live on $15 an hour? I'm in good conscience, I cannot pay someone $15 an hour, especially given the importance that this person plays in my business. So pay your cleaner what he or she asks to be paid, and that way you can both have confidence that at least expectations on compensation are being met, because the last thing that you want to have happen is high turnover of your cleaners. That is not good for you. It is not good for your business. So if you pay them adequately, they're much more liable to be loyal to you, and it's going to make your job of running an Airbnb business that much easier. Okay, the next piece of advice that I have to maintain a great cleaner is making sure that the communication between you and your cleaner is very smooth. The first way that I do this is that I have automated messaging that goes from one of my property management systems. I use Guesty for hosts. I have automated messaging through that system that goes to my cleaner that lets her know every time that my listings receive a booking, what the date of the booking is, how many guests, and if there are any pets, because I allow pets in my listing. That way, my cleaner can put that in her calendar. The other thing that I do is I export the calendars from Airbnb and VRBO to her calendar as well as to mine. So every time a booking happens, it populates in that calendar and she automatically gets it. So the automated messaging is just another backup system that she has to know when guests are coming and going. And it's really important to have that redundant system because sometimes there are glitches and she doesn't get the automated messages or she misses them. So having the two ways that the guests coming and going are communicated to her really, really helps. Okay, so the next piece of advice that I have around maintaining a really great cleaner is to have a deep cleaning of all of your places, but don't have your regular cleaner do that. I would actually have another, it could even be a company, another cleaner do that deep cleaning. And here's why. I said in the very beginning of this video that the cleaner tends to have a specific process he or she follows, steps that they always take in every single home. Well, the tendency of human beings is to just default, right, to those same habits over and over. So I don't want my everyday cleaner to be doing deep cleanings because she's probably just going to default to that, and I want something different. So it's about every quarter or so, I will hire a different cleaner to do a deep cleaning of my homes. And this is where they are cleaning the baseboards, the window blinds, the windows on the inside and outside, all of those items that aren't necessarily going to get done on your everyday turn. That is when those things get done. The other thing that I do in order to maintain a cleaner, and this goes back to a point I made earlier about linens, is I have, a couple things here. One, I have 3 sets of linens in every single one of my listings. So that means I've got 3 sets of towels, 3 sets of sheets, and pillowcases, and then I also have an extra duvet cover for every single bed. And the reason that I do this is because the cleaner will take one of the sets off of the bed after the guest has used them. Then there's automatically already a clean set available that she places. And then there's one that's left there just in case, so that there's always a clean set of linens, and she's never having to wait to do the laundry at the home. We tried doing the laundry at the home and it just made the turns take way too long. And it meant that she wasn't able to keep a really tight schedule in the day in terms of getting to all of the listings that she has to clean. So I recommend not only having 3 sets of linens, but also having your cleaner or outsource the cleaning of the linens to a laundry service. You don't want to mix doing the everyday turn with the laundry because it takes way too much time in a day. All right, so the next tip that I have for keeping a good cleaner is to treat your cleaner well. He or she, they're human beings, they work for a living, and they frankly are the most important person in your business besides you. And I think it's really important to treat them with respect, but to also show your appreciation monetarily. So on major holidays, I give my cleaner a bonus. I also make sure to give my cleaner days off. So if there is ever a day that I don't want checkouts to happen, such as on a major holiday like Christmas Eve or Christmas, I will indicate in my policies that guests cannot check in or check out on those days so that my cleaner and her crew can have that day off. So I've already talked about the importance of finding and keeping a great cleaner. I've mentioned a little bit about property management. Before I talk a little bit more about that, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you found this helpful. You can also check down in the description box below. I've got links for all of my favorite furnishings for an Airbnb. I also have a referral link down below if you want to become an Airbnb host, and you can earn up to $70 if you sign up. In a subsequent video, I'll be talking about property management and inspecting properties and the importance of doing that, as well as what I do to make sure that my properties stay in really, really great shape. So I'm having a lot of trouble ending this video because I've been talking too much. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. Bye-bye.